Dragons Rising, Ninjago's newest show, which I guess isn't really too new now because it is like 3 years old, but anyway, this show has been getting a pretty positive reception because pretty much everyone I've seen talking about it is enjoying it, unless your name is W Bricks, because he's just way too blinded by nostalgia. I don't know, that's just my hot take. And speaking of hot takes, today we will be looking at 5 of the hottest Ninjago Dragons Rising hot takes that were submitted by you guys like over 5 months ago. Sorry it took me so long to get to it, but anyway, let's just move right into the first hot take. So the first hot take is that the Tournament of the Sources is better than the Tournament of Elements. And to be completely real, I actually don't know which one I prefer. On one hand, I do really enjoy the original Tournament of Elements, and I do have a lot of nostalgia for it, and this was actually the first full Ninjago season I watched. I'm pretty sure Cartoon Network was like showing the entire thing all at once, so I just binge watched it and ended up getting like a headache and I just couldn't finish watching it all. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this topic at hand. And speaking of hands, on the other hand, Dragons Rising Season 2 is probably my favourite Ninjago season right now. I don't know if that's just recency bias because it is the last full Ninjago season to have been released, but I do really enjoy it. I liked seeing the new masters even if most of their powers were just stupid. And I also did enjoy Aaron's arc in this season as well. But I believe this hot take isn't really talking about the seasons themselves. I believe it's actually just talking about the tournaments. And with that, I do disagree, even though, as I mentioned before, I do really like Season 2 of Dragons Rising. But the actual tournament aspect of that season didn't really compare with the OG tournament. All of the fights all took place in the same spot, and then most of the fights are only seen very briefly in a montage. But with the Tournament of Elements, every single fight took place in a completely different setting, and from memory, I'm pretty sure we saw majority of the fights in full. And we also got a lot more actual fights, because a lot of the Tournament of the Sources battles were more of like a mini game than a fight, and that is why I do prefer the Tournament of Elements, but I can also see why you would believe the opposite. Alright, you are not ready for this one. Dragons Rising is cringe. Okay. That is just such an out-of-pocket statement. Like, why is Dragons Rising cringe? So I actually did ask this guy why he, even thought something as despicable as that. And he responded with everything. The dialogues and the fights especially. Okay, so this still doesn't make sense to me. Maybe we should take a look at what the definition of cringe really is. Okay, so you're telling me you feel some sort of second-hand embarrassment from a show featuring plastic ninjas with superpowers. I mean, I guess Ninjago has had some pretty questionable dialogue at times, and I guess the one thing at the top of my head regarding cringe dialogue from Dragons Rising is actually when Zane says the word cringe. I don't know, this little bit here just felt, I guess, just a little bit cheesy, maybe even a little bit cringe. And now that I think about it, I guess the character of Rodby can also say some cringy-ish things as well. Alright, I know this looks bad because I originally said that I disagree with him, but now I'm looking like a bit of a hypocrite because I just mentioned 2 cringy things regarding Dragons Rising from the top of my head. But what I can't even find anything to slightly agree on that the fights are cringe. I mean, how can a fight even be cringe? I just don't really see how. So yeah, I guess Dragons Rising can be a little bit cringe at times, but I mean, so was the original show, and it is a kids show after all. I'm sure if you watch any other show like that, you would feel some cringe as well. Okay, this one is a pretty interesting one. Wildfire is better than Aaron and Sora. So obviously, Dragons Rising's 3 main characters are Lloyd, Aaron, and then Sora. And then you would say the other ninja are next, and then all the way down is Wildfire. So yeah, she's pretty far down the main character pecking order, if that's what you'd like to call it. But anyway, I can see both sides to this argument. Even though I did initially hate Wildfire in Part 1 of Season 1, as Dragons Rising has gone on, I started to like Wildfire more and more. She has slowly been climbing my favourite character rankings because of her personality, and she also has been given a fair bit of character development, especially in Season 2 over Aaron and Sora. And obviously, favorite characters are a preference, and I can see all 3 of these characters being interchangeable for everyone, but as it stands, Aaron is my favourite, then Sora, then Wildfire. So even though Wildfire isn't my favourite new character in Dragons Rising, I can see why anyone else would think that she is. Alright, the next hot take is Dragons Rising has better character development than the original show. And well, I just feel like this is just a hard one to judge, because obviously the OG show spanned across 11 years, while Dragons Rising has only had 3 seasons. And yes, in those 3 seasons, a lot of characters have been given a lot of very good development. Lloyd has kind of become a master, Aaron is on his little evil arc, Sora has just been heavily focused on throughout the entire show so far, Wildfire has grown from an immature child to a less immature child. Kai's also matured quite a lot more, and he is sort of like a father figure for Wildfire. And of course, Jay is going on his own little journey as well. And Zane looks like this now. But if you look at the first 3 seasons of the original series, because I just feel like that if you look beyond that, it just becomes unfair, because obviously the longer a show goes on for, the harder it is to find ways to develop characters. So anyway, in the first 3 seasons, Lloyd went from a bratty child to the Green Ninja in training, to the Golden Ninja, to the leader of the ninja team. And then Kai, well, he just became less obsessed with becoming the Green Ninja. Cole also didn't really have any development, and I guess Jay didn't really have any either. But Neil got quite a bit with her becoming Samurai X, and then the focus that she got being a part of the love triangle. So if going through the development from the first 3 seasons of each series, I would have to say that Dragons Rising actually ended up being well and truly ahead in terms of character development, because not only do I believe that there is a lot more of it, I just also believe that the quality of the development is a lot more higher as well. And now the final hot take that I think that easily 99% of Ninjago fans heavily disagree with is that We Rise is better than the original Weekend Whip. Now, I actually kind of like We Rise. I know a lot of people don't really like it, and I get it. It definitely has a very different tone to the Weekend Whip, but I don't really mind that. But do I think it is better than the Weekend Whip? Absolutely not. The Weekend Whip is unironically on my Spotify playlist, and is also unironically probably in my top 10, maybe even pushing top 5 favorite songs, whereas We Rise probably would struggle to make it into my top 50. I should probably also say that I barely listen to music, like maybe so far I've listened to like 2 times this year, so that is why both of these 2 songs are ranked so high for me in terms of my favorite songs. But anyway, yeah, We Rise is good, but the Weekend Whip sets a very high standard and is a cult classic. And I guess I would be lying if I said that nostalgia isn't playing at least a tiny role with my enjoyment of the Weekend Whip. Alright, so those are the hottest Dragons Rising hot takes that you guys submitted. And if you have your own hot takes, leave them in the comments, because I really do enjoy making these videos. Anyway, in the meantime, you can check out my hot takes playlist right here. See you later, be Ninja.